Everybody, good morning, friends over the internet. Welcome. So let's begin by taking refuge in generating the four immeasurable thoughts. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Well, let's take a moment to make sure we are here and now. Whatever we have been doing before coming here, we let it fade away in the past, and what we might have to do in the future, we leave it on hold so that we can enjoy these parentheses of leisure and freedom that we are offering ourselves. Now that we are in a position where we can enjoy this leisure and freedom we have, and have a sense of gratitude, we can pay attention to what is. And we begin by paying attention to our posture. The posture has a direct influence on the state of our minds, therefore it's very important. We first notice the contact with the ground, whether we sit directly on the floor or sit on a chair. We notice the stability we gain through this contact. We have something we can rest upon. Our hands might be resting palms down flat on our thighs, or in the meditation gesture, the right hand in the left and both resting in the lap. Our shoulders are slightly outstretched, and naturally our spine becomes straight without unnecessary tension. As we breathe in and out, any tension we could feel around the abdomen is relaxed. And the center of gravity drops down and we feel it slightly below our navel. The chin is slightly tucked in, so the head is in line with the spine. The mouth is relaxed. The tongue is slightly touching the palate. Our gaze is directed straight ahead, slightly downwards. Eyes half closed in a soft and open vision of what is directly in front of us. Yet now and then, if you find it more comfortable, you can keep your eyes closed. Now we can pay attention to our breath, coming and going mostly through the nostrils. It's a very natural movement. We notice the movement and we use it as a reference point as long as we need it. Noticing the breath coming in and going out. If counting the rounds of breath help, please do so. By paying attention to the breath, we can avoid being dragged away by the incessant, ceaseless movement of thoughts and sense perceptions that arise and disappear. In themselves, they are not a problem. They're just mental events that arise and disappear. We don't need to suppress them. But out of a habit, we're always trying to control them, and they open a line for a story, a narration, and we move from one thought to another endlessly. That brings a sense of distraction and maybe at times exhaustion. We don't need to do that. We can let it be. Give our mind a break. Thoughts arise and disappear, sense perception also, and that's fine. If there's a gap, moment of silence, that's fine too. Doesn't have to be promoted. If it happens, it's fine. If movement happens, it's fine. As we don't intervene or try to control the movement of thoughts and sense perception, the sense of spaciousness and well-being can be experienced. The sense of spacious awareness can be also experienced. And we just mind this and abide in this experience for as long as it lasts. And then if we lose it, we come back to the breath for a while until we find this equipoise, alert and spacious again. Feel free to move or stretch a bit if you need. Sometime when we study or read instructions, I'm not even talking about philosophy here, I'm just talking about instructions about meditation, okay? We might be sort of puzzled and a little bit lost in the plethora of informations that, you know, we receive. And it's really hard to find which one of the 51 mental events we have to work on, for example. We have to try to figure out what is the clear line, what is one essential quality that I could work with. It's great to have a lot of information, but it's also very important to have a sort of a, I call it the moonshine of Dharma, you know, the essential distillation of the drops that really work for us. And one quality that is praised everywhere is to have a very consistent mind with regards to the practice of Dharma. And in particular, when we are cultivating bodhicitta, the enlightened mind attitude, in particular, when we are cultivating mind training, sending, taking, you know, transforming adversity into the path of enlightenment, we might at times vacillate, you know, we might sort of like be on and off. And this happened in particular when we sort of restrict the practice to the moment when we sit on the cushion, where we are sort of you know, officially doing something that is called practice. And so we sort of feel that we have to do that, and at times it becomes like an obligation. It's like a chore. We have to do it because we have to do it, and so on. And we really lose the contact with what is really here at stake, which is a constant transformation by observing one's mind, analyzing one's behavior, seeing what is appropriate, in a sense, what helps me and others to come closer to that Buddha nature. And we sort of lose track. And that's why we're on and off. And because we've sort of like built a mental representation of what practice is. And then we do it, you know, like we say that, I have to do my practice. You know, it's just one of the 1,000 ways of being in touch with one's mind, becoming more sort of aware of what this mind has in terms of hindrances, fleeting, but sort of like self-perpetuating influences of a negative nature, and also the inner treasures that this mind has that most of the time we ignore. We ignore for many reasons, because we are not here, we are not present, we are hunting some dreams that we have. And so the preciousness of mind that is always here, we fail to see it. And so the only way is to be always there, always present, always developing, deepening this relation with the mind. But it shouldn't turn into a task. You see, that's the tricky point. When we turn it into a task, then it's on and off. Sometimes we do the task, sometimes we don't. So it's, you know, the Tibetan word for practice, one of the Tibetan words for practice is gyunkyer, which means a constant, uninterrupted flow. Another word in Tibetan for practice is nyamlen, seizing the experience, having the experience. So if you use these two words and then try to sort of like mash them into one idea, is cultivating a flow, unceasing flow, that becomes more and more familiar, having therefore the experience of what mind is. And mind has different levels. You know, there's one aspect of mind, which is how this mind of mine works. You know, like my hidden agendas, my habits, my, you know, and then become aware of this and own it. That's me. As of today, as of now, that's how my mind has been. That's the setup of my mind. Okay. And then sort out what needs to be nourished and what needs to be sort of like progressively letting go of. So that's one aspect relating to the mind. And that's where cultivating generosity and ethic and patience comes in, because generosity is the antidote of stinginess, misery or poverty-stricken mind, you know. So we open up, and then ethic is an awareness of how much we can impact other lives by our words and deeds, and try to be careful, because it's not just about others in that sense that we are the first casualty of negative actions. We will have to bear the consequences of what we have done. And so if we don't want to have to clean our mess for 25 years, then just like, you know, don't spill it if you don't want to have to mop it. That's the mantra. And so that's one aspect. And then there's a deeper aspect, is what is the stuff mind is made of? This is a more in-depth observation of mind. And we can do that all the time, not in an obsessive manner. That's why I said, don't turn it into a trip, don't turn it into a job, because then the beauty of it is lost. You know, it's a discovery. It's amazing. There's beautiful things, and, you know, things that needs to be adjusted, obviously, that are not that glamorous, but all in all, we become more familiar, which is another way of calling meditation familiarity, becoming more acquainted with what mind is. And that requires consistency. That's the main quality, really. In general, for any kind of endeavor, we have to be consistent. We can't be just like, you know, like a butterfly that goes from one thing to another. I do a little bit of this. Oh, I don't like it. It's a little bit difficult. Oh, let's do something else. Let's forget about it. You know, this is not really cultivating this closeness with our mind. Consistency, don't vacillate. And I think it's very important not to represent practice as a task, but a way of being. We transform our way of being. And mind training, all the teachings on mind trainings are about changing the way of being from a very self-centered to a more altruistic, or more, let's say, to begin fair, and then after that, altruistic, and then after that, understand what is the underlying reality that has kept us so far, which is, what is the stuff this story is made of? Isn't all of this just projections of confused images of my mind that ignores itself? So through the process of recovering some sort of gentleness and kindness, we also come to develop a sense of a profundity, an inner wisdom of the nature of reality. So, and all of this entirely depends on how consistent we are in doing this exploration. It's an ongoing exploration. Let's go back to the exploration. Through this merit, may I attain true omniscience, then having overcome all harmful destructive forces, may I liberate sentient beings from the ocean of existence and its turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May the most precious mind of awakening that has not yet dawned now rise. Once arisen, may it never decline. May it continue to increase evermore. Thank you all very much. Thank you, friends from the internet. Happy Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. And see you next Sunday. Bye. Good morning.